We don't know who's going to take over in Syria, right? This guy we know is a former Al Qaeda guy. The last thing we want is Al Qaeda people with access to submarines and Air Force and ballistic missiles. So Israel had to destroy all of that infrastructure in order to make sure that it doesn't fall in the wrong hands. The same thing goes for the Palestinians. So there could be some sort of an arrangement, but it will definitely, for sure, will not include a complete Palestinian independence as people may have envisioned in past years.
Okay, so now I read in the paper today that it's official that Israel is going to be taking over Gaza, and already 30% of Gaza is under Israeli control right now. Why did they make this decision?
Well, I guess again, it's a security decision. It's not a political decision. It's not an ideological decision. It's a security decision. That's the best way to protect Israelis is by having troops on the ground. But then again, what if soldiers will die? What if the presence of the IDF in Gaza will be so costly, so unbearable? We've had that before. We've had that before in Lebanon. We were in Lebanon for 18 years. Hundreds and hundreds of soldiers were killed. We were in Gaza for many, many years. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of soldiers were killed. And so there's going to be ultimately a public pressure to get out of there. And again, to separate. There are no easy solutions because the reality is not simple. The reality is very, very complex. And don't forget the American factor. We have a new president that comes into the office with a new level of energy, with new ideas. One of the ideas we discussed already is what is commonly referred to as Gaza Lago, which I love that. I love that name that was attached to it. And I think it's a very effective way to steer the kind of conversation that we need to have about the future of Gaza that involves the Arabs, that involves Saudi Arabia, that involves Egypt. Why the whole world is looking up to Israel to find a solution to Gaza? What about Egypt? Right? The Egyptians
Weren't the Egyptians offered Gaza back in a peace agreement and refused? They took just the
Yes,
Sinai
of course.
Peninsula, but not. And why is that?
Of course, they always refuse because you have to understand the World War II created a massive refugee problem of over 20 million people, among them 1 million Jewish refugees from Arab countries, which no one is talking about.
No one talks about that.
But all those refugees were settled. They were settled in Russia, in Poland, in Ukraine, in Israel, in all sorts of places. The only group that since 1945 had not been settled are the Palestinians, or the so-called Palestinians, because we don't even know. And it's a funny thing that those people accuse Israel of a genocide. Well, if Israel was indeed interested in killing and annihilating the Palestinian people, it's probably the worst, clumsiest genocide in history because the number of Palestinians has gone up from 200,000 in 45 to millions today, right? So what kind of genocide is this?